And my name is Shadrach Kobotlo. I am with the Council on Higher Education from the Kingdom of Lesotho. And we, from the CHE Lesotho, have been requested to facilitate this final seminar of the year of the AQVN, and it's been quite a journey since July, when this journey of a series of webinars started, and we are happy to welcome all of you, ladies and gentlemen, on board. We have 3 presentations today. The first will be by our colleagues and comrades from Morocco, and then we'll have the second one from Cape Verde, and the third and final will be by our colleague Eduarda, but she'll be presenting on the African Continental Qualifications Framework project website to guide us through some information that is on that platform. So on that note, I am pleased to welcome you all, ladies and gentlemen. If we have, and I hope we do, have new people participating on this platform for the first time, you are most welcome, colleagues who are participating for the first time. And for those who've been on the platform since July, it's been a very good and illuminating journey, ladies and gentlemen. We've learned a lot from the various presentations and the various lessons that we learned from various countries that shared their experiences with us on this platform through this series of webinars. And for the new colleagues who are joining for the first time, maybe just a word or two about AQVN and this platform, so that they are able to connect. Basically, the AQVN decided that we should have this platform so that we are not completely stifled by the restrictions that were brought about by COVID-19, with no travel and no interaction, no physical interaction across countries, with the lockdowns that we had across the continent and indeed across the world. AQVN decided to have this seminars as a learning platform, so that we could keep engaging and keep sharing information and keep networking as members of the AQVN on the continent, and also with lessons from Europe, with the support of the European Training Foundation. And so we've had 4 webinars so far. This is the 5th and the last for the year, and a determination will be made how then we move forward from here when we get into the new year. So this is a a platform for sharing information and for sharing experiences on qualifications, on recognition and verification of qualifications. And on that note, I once again would like to welcome new colleagues who are joining the platform for the first time, and to those who've been who've been guests on this ship as it sailed from July. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call upon Miriam. Miriam, are you on board? Perhaps to make a few remarks before we start with the presentations. Miriam, are you here? If Miriam hasn't joined yet, maybe Naveen could perhaps you could perhaps say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Kabotlo. Thank you for facilitating this webinar. And I just wanted to say, possibly on behalf of Miriam, so my name is Naveen Vasudev. For those who may not have known me, but I was facilitating the last few of the webinars. But I'm also the secretary of the AQVN. And as Mr. Kabotlo has mentioned, a very warm welcome to all of you to this final webinar. It has been, again, as he mentioned, it has been such a wonderful learning journey for all of us. There's been so much of learning from each other. And I think that is the highlight of this particular webinar. And that was the goal, where we wanted to share specifically the work that our organizations are undertaking, specifically related to verification practices. So it's been a rich sharing of information, and I really like to thank each one of you. But what is also really important is the aspect of networking that we have been undertaking between ourselves, amongst ourselves. And that has been really a rich, gain for the AQVN as a young network. Just to mention, recently we actually had put out a call for all our participants, webinar participants, to join us on a AQVN WhatsApp channel, the call links, where we can immediately and quickly interact with each other. There will be other forms of communication, of course, as Mr. Kabotlo said, going forward into 2022, we are planning what we are going to do. But for now, it is very important that the network and the communications amongst us continues. And I'm very happy to say that this has already started, and it's really an exciting venture. And I just again wanted to thank the colleagues from the European Training Foundation, ETF, for making this happen. It started off as an idea and between talks amongst particularly Miriam and Eduarda, and here we are on the final day of the webinar series. So thank you once again, and good luck with the webinar. Over to you, Mr. Kabotlo.
Thank you very much, Naveen. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to hand over to our colleagues from Morocco. But before I do, just a short announcement that we have translation so that for those who will need services of interpretation, you can be able to access and utilize those services on your screen. We do have three-way interpretation: English, French, and Portuguese. And with that sorted, then I can hand over to our colleague from Morocco. I'm nervous to pronounce your name, sir, lest I miss it badly.
Bakour El Mokhtar.
Bakour El Mokhtar.
El Mokhtar. C'est un peu
yes,
difficile,
yes.
oui. Voilà, parfait.
Please proceed,
parfait.
sir.
Alors,
right.
merci, Monsieur Cobolto.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cobotlo. And thank you to the colleagues who really wanted to participate in this last of the five-way series. To me, it's a pride to be part of this webinar. I was there during the first four webinars. It was a good time of sharing of data, information on our different systems, and also the recognition of certifications and qualifications. And we also had a number of countries who shared their experiences. So allow me to show my presentation on the equivalent systems for diplomas in Morocco. Give me a second. So you can see my screen? Yes, please have it in presentation mode. Yeah, that's good.
Oui, alors on est en train de... Petit problème technique. On essaie de le régler.
So we're trying to sort out a technical issue we have. Allow us a couple of seconds just to sort out this technical issue we have for the presentation.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's fine, sir.
Il y a un petit cadré. Je ne sais pas d'où vient-il, mais
voilà. Comment vous pouvez remettre dans l'autre version? Ah, voilà, excellent. C'est bon.
Yeah, excellent. That's good.
C'est bon, merci.
All right.
Ok, alors, comment? Alors, merci, Eduarda, bonjour.
Thank you, Eduarda. Greetings. I'm happy to be part of this. It's a good time to see you again, although it's remotely. We hope that one day we'll be able to find ourselves meeting physically. It's our hope. So the system of equivalence of diplomas in Morocco, some countries talk about recognition, others talk of equivalence. So each country will have their own terminology, but there is, of course, a meaning to the terms that are used. Allow me to start with the overview of the Moroccan higher education system, where we have a law from the year 2000. Is the law 0100. You have the public higher education, And you also have the private higher education. So under the public higher education, you got universities, you got faculties and schools, and then you also have non-university institutions. So they are managed by other technical ministries, such as the agricultural ministry or the Ministry of Mine and so on. So you have about 30 institutions that are managed besides the Ministry of Education. But in general, those universities are under the supervision of the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research and Innovation. So you also have institutions that are under the partnership of private and public entities. You also have schools and institutions under those partnerships. So you have also private institutions that are funded by investors. It could be Moroccan citizens or other entities that are coming from outside that come to Morocco to do scientific research. So this is how things take place at national level. So you have public university with 140 schools or universities. You have the University Al Khawen, that is a public university managed by private entities. You also have 5 universities that are established within the framework of the partnership. We also have 2 schools, the Casablanca Architectural School, that is in partnership with the state, but that is under the Central School of Paris. You also have private higher education, 5 private universities with 23 campuses. So this is how things are coming up. You have the pedagogical architecture. You have the DEUG and the DEUP, which is general and professional qualification that leads to national diploma in basic studies and also in vocational studies. And that leads to a master or a specialized master. So since the year 2000, Morocco has the LMD system where you've got license, master, and doctorate. So the one is obtained after 3 years, master's is after 5 years, and doctorate after 8 years. Now, Morocco, from this year, 2021, had a new bachelor reform that is going to replace the license level after 3 years. So it's going to be 4 years now instead of 3, with foundation year. So this is a time where the students are introduced to the university context, and it's also a year of referral and orientation. There will be able to choose what they want to study. We also have introduction to soft skills in order to strengthen the personal skills. And also we have language reinforcement. Of course, we have French and other languages, including English and Spanish. Since the 2000 reform, because Morocco adopted the LMD system, it was a modular system. We did not introduce at the time the credit system and also diploma supplement. So this bachelor reform adopted the credit system, which is similar to what you see in Europe. So we deliver or we issue a qualification with the credits. So for the year 2019-2020, we had about 1 million of students in public universities. We had 91% of those students, 3.7% were in non-university public institution. So for the year 2019-2020, we had 282,000 students who enrolled for the first time. Now, when it comes to graduates, we're looking at what, 150,000 graduates from all sectors. 84% are coming from the public universities and 8% are coming from non-university institutions. Now, when it comes to mobility at national or international level, we have about 23,000 students that are enrolled in Morocco universities that are from other countries. So we have about 13,000 that are registered in our public universities. And you have about 9,000 that are enrolled in private higher education institutions. So we had about 15,000 authorizations that were edited, and that mobility comes from 141 countries. Then you also have the scholarship system with 298 programs. Most of them are coming from African countries. So from 70 academic destinations, you had 14 scholarship commissions, and you have 84 interstate scholarship commission. Now for training that were accredited for the year 2019-2020, for this year, 2019 and 2020, we had 2,721 courses that were accredited. So you have science and technical courses. You had legal sciences, economic and social sciences. You have literacy and human sciences. So you see for science and technical sciences, you had about 40%, and the rest is between human and social science with 24%, and 7.5% for education sciences. So in terms of levels, so accredited courses by cycles, so you have matric +2, DUT, you also have matric +3 with specialized courses for primary and secondary diplomas that we call education diplomas. So we also have the specialized masters, technical masters, the engineer degree, and we also have international degrees of matric +5 years of studies. So you also have medicine, pharmacy, and dental specialties. You also have doctorate level, which is research for PhD. Now for the ANEAQ, which is a national agency created by a law in 2014. It started in 2017, and its mission is, it was created as a public school with the mission to assess and evaluate public and private higher education institutions and research institutions, and to assess the training courses with a view to obtaining a renewed accreditation, assessment of the activities of doctoral study centers, and the assessment of scientific research, and review and assessment of equivalence files. So this mission was added to by modifying the law in 2015. There was a decree that was published, and there is an order to now transfer these files
et de l'innovation en attendant de transférer ces dossiers. Alors, pour le cadre juridique des
So for the legal, the equivalence of degrees, it is managed by decree of June 2001, which has been reviewed by 2014 by the decree of the minister in terms of the tertiary education of February 2003. These constitute the legal framework for equivalence of degrees in or qualifications in Morocco. In terms of the procedure, there is, first of all, the submission of the application to the department. So because of the pandemic, there was a platform. This is where it is an electronic repository where you do it by online. So the file is submitted by this one of these commissions based on the Commission of Humanities and Human Science, Law, Economics and Management, Life and Deaf Science, Engineering Sciences, Sciences and Technology, and Health Sciences. So to the type of according to
lettres pour la commission lettres. Lettres A,
we do have the letter arts, humanities, and we do also have humanity arts, law, economics, management, accounting, social science, mathematics, physics, chemistry, computer science, life, earth, and universe science, medicine, pharmacy, dentistry, and medical specialties. And there is also the degrees on paramedical and for these engineers, architects, surveyors, and topographers. Because of the meeting of one of these commission, the commission will take whether the equivalence with the corresponding degree, whether it is a master degree or whether it's a doctorate, or to look at maybe it could be a training or qualification that is not adequate. Then there will be a rejection, but that rejection should be motivated, of course. Or they will require a supplementary training. So whether it is valid or so, the commission will suggest a complementary training, whether you learn one or some modules, or by doing an internship in terms of in-service training. It could be the case of medicine or and so forth and so on. So the equivalents are given by the ministers, the order of the minister or in charge of higher education, which are published in the official bulletin or gazette, government gazette. And this judge the sincerity of these to provide the equivalence of the qualifications, and the qualification that we receive by country of origin. We do have historically given the cooperation that between these countries, and it is essentially for Morocco that go do their, and there is France, Spain, and Ukraine. These are countries particularly for medicine and so forth and so on. So by the nature of the degrees, so there is these qualifications that are from private institutions or public institutions. So the question in terms of the accreditation, whether when we talk about accreditation or recognition of the degree or qualifications or the establishment, for instance, there are private qualifications that are targeted by the state. It depends on each specialty. It could be that the accreditation of the institution, once in their system, these foreign qualifications provided by foreign institutions, if they are recognized in their state and by their government. So for our case, we are going to consider that there is quality assurance, there is guarantee from the state for these qualifications provided by these accredited institutions to either provide national qualifications or private qualifications that are validated by the origin foreign country. So, in addition to this sectoral commission, we've put in place in our system this higher commissioner for equivalence of qualifications, which has got the mission to define the criteria of evaluation of qualifications and to do also the follow-up of the work of sectorial committee and to re-examine cases rejected by sectoral committee. So it is like a commission of appeal or recourse. If someone he feels that he has been prejudiced and the equivalence was not provided or rejected, the person could appeal to this higher commission. So this will re-examine the case and to decide on the issue. So, with regard to the rapprochement with countries, we are in the context of globalization. There is mobility, so we wanted a rapprochement with European countries. There is the European space, which are being managed by this Bologna process. There was the adoption of the system LMD in 2003. There is also UNESCO Morocco. This is an international convention on the recognition of studies and qualifications of the Arab state and the European states bordering the Mediterranean. I will come back to these two conventions of UNESCO that Morocco ratified. So with regard to the recognition to promote an inter-regional cooperation between Arab countries and the European countries bordering the Mediterranean. So here we are talking about rapprochement between Morocco and the European countries. There was also a Catania declaration in Sicilia to put an Euro-Mediterranean Arab education of 29 January 2007. So these are the two conventions of UNESCO that have been ratified by Morocco, the convention of between Arab state and European state bordering the Mediterranean. And the second one is the intervention on the recognition of studies or qualifications signed in 2018. Of course, I think that I will come back to this. This is a convention that so this African Convention of Addisa, which replaced the one of Abuja in 2014. The interest of networking and the establishment of information centers on the recognition of qualifications. Since 2005, in our ministry, we were conscientized on this issue on networking and the information exchange on the qualifications and the education system, higher education systems. And there was a project during the meeting in Rabat in 2005. There was an European project with the support of UNESCO. There was a decision
des diplômes
on the creation of the information centers on the recognition of the qualifications for the 4 southern Mediterranean countries. There was Algeria, Egypt, Tunisia, and Morocco. That was the first step. The second step was to provide these information centers with a network for better cooperation between these centers and other national centers, especially the unique and NARIC network. Based on this meeting of the network has been called now Unique Mediterranean Recognition Information Center Network, which was launched in December 2006. The first meeting of this network took place in 2010. The first meeting was in Mostar, in Herzegovina, Bosnia. Unfortunately, I'm saying unfortunately, it only stopped there. There was no follow-up, so it was the departure of the responsible person in UNESCO and my departure also because I was in charge of the national of this. There were also the departures of other responsible people. So nothing happened after this period. So we tried to, there was another project, ENIC NERIC, that was piloted by ENIC NARIC France, which lasted between 2017 and 2019. The aim was to have create under the authority of the Intergovernmental Committee to facilitate cooperation between national information centers on university mobility and recognition. The MERIC network provides support and assistance to the implementation of the convention by the competent national authorities, and the network gives its opinion to the Intergovernmental Committee to the Mediterranean Convention on the recommendation, declaration, protocol, and code on good practices that will be submitted to the Intergovernmental Committee for adoption. So the project in terms of the creation of the African Recognition Information Centers Network, ARIC, African Recognition Information Centers Network, it started in 2016 based on a focus meeting, group meeting in the framework of the implementation of this convention. It was in Paris. I was there. Maybe some of you here were also present in that meeting in 2016 in UNESCO in Paris. There was a proposal to create the network ARIC that we called. If you can go back to the website of UNESCO, you can see the minutes of that particular meeting. There was the creation of network ARIC based on the convention of Addis Ababa. So, proposal to be concretized, what follow-up to, so it's up to us to debate on this issue, and I've proposed it so that we can discuss and maybe also to concretize that proposal. So what about the issue of equivalence of qualifications and the NQF? Morocco has got a CNC and it's a mechanism for defining, classifying, certifying, and approving qualifications at the national level based on learning outcomes reflecting the need of the labor market and the development of society. So we've put in place CNC at the will 8 level from primary up to 8, which is doctoral. So we've got 6 descriptors: responsibility, the openness, communication, and we need to establish a national qualification register. We need also to put the structure of NQF. Maybe Madame Eduarda knows this issue very well because we worked closely on this issue because she's part of this permanent committee of CNC. So we want to establish a structure of the NQF of CNC. Is it going to be at the ANIAC, or maybe we can create a new structure as a public institution dealing with CNC? Why are we talking about the equivalence of qualifications and NQF with this descriptors and will have the better readability, better visibility, evaluation of qualifications for their fair value according to the levels and according to the pre-established descriptors. There is also in this same very issue the recognition of prior learning during for the lifelong. Even if we've adopted this system up to now, we didn't have the recognition of the prior learning. So now we are supposed to think to go now to the action, to the adoption of VA and VAP, because there is the law which has been passed in 2009 in terms of article number 2, which defines the inactivity that is being accomplished in to improve the skills or capacity in terms of individual projects, societal. So there is a legal aspect that will make it in terms of to legalize prior recognition, and these are mechanisms of evaluation and knowledge of to allow to the candidate to continue with his or her studies. If in terms of the validation, it could be complete, which will lead to a qualification, or partial or continuous, to allow the person to continue with the studies. In terms of complementarity, I think that it's important between this CNC and the equivalence.
Mr. Mukhtar, just 1 minute. Can you round off?
Et je vous laisse admirer ce beau paysage.
Can you please round off in 2 minutes, sir?
D'accord.
Est-ce que vous pouvez terminer dans 2 minutes?
Well, was that the last slide?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Morocco. The way we'll do it, colleagues, is that we will please note whatever comments or questions you would like to make. We'll take them at the end of the presentations, so that we're able to fit in all the presentations. So right now we'll have Eduarda present on the AQVN African Continental Framework Project website. Eduarda, over to you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, dear colleagues. Thank you so much for your participation, all of you. I'm also speaking on behalf of the European Training Foundation and the AQF project, and it has been really a very informative journey. These 5 webinars in 2021, jointly with this great network, AQVN. I want to thank personally Miriam, of course, and Naveen for their constant and very active role, for their leadership, and all of you colleagues who have been participating through this journey of 5 webinars. I will try to be very, very brief in this presentation, the purpose of which is to naturally inform briefly about the AQF project, AQF development project, and with a special focus on the AQF website. My name is Eduarda Castelbranco, as you might know. So let us start with a couple of, let's say, inspiring also ideas. So Africa's population is the youngest in the world. Africa is called the world repository of youth. And the accomplishment of the potentialities of the African demographic dividend in this post-COVID-19 economic recovery will depend on the development of the right mix of skills of the population and the quality and comparability of qualifications of all levels and sectors of education and training systems across countries. The learning nowadays must be lifelong, must be life-wide to enable transitions to new and to changing jobs in the high productivity sectors, to adaptation to new skills, requirements in the green and digital economies, and to support inclusion in decent work and in the formal economy of the small artisans and self-employed and of the population with limited schooling, formal schooling, but with practical, professional and life experience, especially women and young people. Therefore, we always say that skills and qualifications are at the heart of the African Renaissance for the accomplishment of the African demographic dividend. And the AQF has a role to play in this important agenda. The African Continental Qualifications Framework, AQF, is a policy initiative of the African Union, which is explicitly mentioned in key African Union policies, especially the Continental Education Strategy for Africa, CESA 2016-2025, and also in the AU, African Union, Free Movement Protocol. And naturally, AQF will also contribute to the African Continental Free Trade Area. The AQF is in development. The activities run from 2019 to 2022. This is a project in partnership between the African Union and the European Union, jointly with organizations such as GIZ and European Training Foundation. The principles of the AQF, as presented, as proposed since the first inaugural workshop in September 2019, are principles such as inclusiveness of all types of learning and all levels of qualifications, receptiveness to innovation, notably to embrace skills required for the green and digital transition, openness to needs of stakeholders and to good practice, African and global good practice. The objectives of the AQF are to connect, enhance, facilitate, cooperate, and promote. Enhance comparability, quality, and transparency of qualifications of all types and levels, to support people's lifelong learning, facilitate validation of learning, recognition of diplomas and certificates, and also naturally the mobility of learners and workers, to cooperate, notably to work in cooperation and complementarity with national and regional qualifications frameworks, and support African continental integration and creation of an African education common space. And finally, to promote cooperation, referencing between qualifications frameworks, national, regional in Africa and worldwide. AQF will connect and contribute to this mutual trust. Building the AQF is intensive work. So it includes, from the one side, technical work as well as numerous interactions with people and networks. Technical work, for example, analysis, technical developments, policy development work, such as those indicated here on this slide, from the AQF mapping study, scenarios of the AQF, the feasibility study on the AQF going forward, the 10 AQF guidelines, the governance proposal, and then the policy document and action plan. Networking and the people aspect or dimension of this AQF development process is very, very important, and it includes the AQF community network, the peer learning webinars. Many of you have been participating, networking with AQVN, a very good example, networking with the regional economic communities such as SADC, support to countries, training program, AQF conference, and so on. AQF going forward, and what will the AQF mean and be? It will, first of all, be a network of NQF agencies, entities, working together with stakeholders, including with stakeholders from the world of work. It will be referencing between national qualifications frameworks, national qualification systems, and AQF. It will be AQF levels on the qualifications and databases upon successful referencing. It will be supporting countries developing and strengthening their national qualifications frameworks. It will be a continental qualifications management system, platform, database, where all countries, interested countries, can connect and cooperate. It will be also validation and recognition of skills, non-formal and informal, a campaign and common tools to support and to enhance validation and recognition of skills, and a sustainable capacity development basis to create knowledge, mutual learning, and also, let's say, sustainable solutions on qualifications and skills for the continent, fit for the continent. Now, as you might know, the AQF website has been launched in October, and it has been officially presented at the Africa Creates Jobs Conference on 3rd of November. Africa Creates Jobs Conference is an initiative of the African Union and UDA NEPAD, so the African Union Development Agency. The AQF is at your service. Please visit, please use, contribute, send us also your news about your NQF, your National Qualifications System. And now let us go to a very quick guided tour, let's say, in the AQF website. The website of the African Continental Qualifications Framework, AQF, is at your service. Are you an official in the ministry and need access to information on national qualifications frameworks in Africa? Are you organizing a new training module for your teacher training program and want to include topics related to national qualifications frameworks and systems in African countries? How is recognition of prior learning, RPL, organized in African countries and in other regions of the world? The new AQF website can help you find replies to these and other questions related with qualifications and qualifications frameworks and systems. Please access the website as follows: aqf.africa. The website is easy to navigate. The menu is simple, and this feature allows you to focus on the most important: resources, capacity development program, and news. On the homepage, you find AQF updates as well as latest publications. Are you interested in specific context, content, examples? You can search the website. Just use the search function. For example, we want to learn about level descriptors. Right? Search. In this case, you will get 66 items matching your search terms. All these items are in this website. So here you have many presentations and learning materials from the AQF webinars, peer learning activities. You have also a few publications. Let us look now at resources. Under resources, you find the technical and analytical reports and outputs of the AQF project, such as the mapping study, which is a collection of 13 country reports, 3 regional reports, and a comprehensive continental analysis of the state of play and main perspectives of qualifications frameworks and systems in Africa. The continental report is available in 3 formats: comprehensive, synthesis, and a snapshot infographic. The regional and country reports are also available in many cases in French and in Portuguese languages. Some of these reports are being updated and these updates are being published. Under policy and guidelines, you find, for example, the feasibility study, ACQF feasibility study. Information on the meetings and webinars of the ACQF advisory group are also available in the dedicated page. And you can also see and read the most relevant for ACQF work, African Union policy documents. In the library, you have a selection of publications from international sources, different international organizations, publications that address the topics and issues of greatest relevance on qualifications, frameworks, and systems. Under resources, there is also the NQF inventory. This is a unique source on NQF's national qualifications frameworks in Africa. This information data is still being completed and uploaded, but you can already use the resource, the inventory. Let us have a quick look at the inventory at the country snapshot, Kenya. As you can see, you get a concise description of the main features of this national qualifications framework. The institution, the main institution, legal and policy documents, the register of qualifications, RPL resources, related context and content. If you want to know about the map of qualifications of the Kenya National Qualifications Framework, you find it under architecture. And if you are interested in the level descriptors, for example, for comparison, for learning, or for reference in your own country work, you also find the full set of the level descriptors of this 10-level, very dynamic national qualifications framework. Let us now look at the capacity development section, in which you will find information on the interactions with people, such as the full and detailed information and materials from the program of 12 peer learning webinars organized in the period 2020-2021. All presentations, reports, pictures, and of course the video materials, video recordings are all structured, systematized in a very user-friendly, accessible manner. You can also use, for example, a new resource called Video Learning Materials with individual videos on the topics of your interest. And you can naturally also access, for your autonomous learning, the thematic briefs, concise, user-friendly briefs on the themes, issues of this vast domain, qualifications, frameworks, and systems. 7 such thematic briefs have been published, and new are going to be published soon. Then the news. ACQF news. Here you find the latest information on the ongoing activities, peer learning webinars, new publications, but particularly important are the news from the countries sent by the national authorities, by stakeholders, by experts. For example, East Africa develops regional TVET qualifications framework. Another news is about Kenya, how Kenya is developing and expanding recognition of prior learning for the benefit of millions of young people, artisans, and small businesses. The Association of Technical Universities and Polytechnics in Africa, ATUPA, is championing for ACQF. And Secretary General of ATUPA has sent us an article about these activities with the constituency. Send us, share with your peers, your news on relevance related with any new policy, guideline, pilot project, online register of qualifications, RPL, your partnerships and governance solutions. Share with your peers across African countries. This will contribute to mutual understanding, to trust building, comparability of qualifications between countries. And this is the main objective of the ACQF. Everybody gains from knowledge circulation and sharing of good practice. Contact us. Contact us with your news, with your information. The website is growing and new features being added, including access to a new learning platform and the 10 ACQF guidelines. The website of the ACQF is here for you. Take a moment, visit, query, contact us. Your comments and suggestions will help us improve the website and add the information you need. Thank you very much, colleagues. I want just to say a final thank you to AQVN, again, to the countries that are taking the lead in spreading the good news and spreading knowledge and creating bonds between all countries and all interested organizations. And I think in the world in which we are nowadays, with so many challenges and the unpredictable situations, nobody can solve the issues alone, working alone. We all need each other. We all need to support each other. We all need this networking. Thank you very much, colleagues. And I pass the floor, Mr. Kobotlo. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eduarda. Very informative presentation and the website there. But we will for now hold our comments and thoughts, colleagues, and take our third and final presentation from colleagues from Cape Verde. I hope they are on board. Cape Verde, are you on board?
Yes, we are ready.
Yes, please. Please proceed with your presentation, after which then we'll take questions, comments, and observations. All right.
Merci. Bom dia a todos.
Good morning all. Good morning, Eduarda. Good morning, all participants. It is a great pleasure to be here with you again and share our experience regarding the knowledge of foreign degrees. Now we're going to go into our topic. We will talk about the 4 items, which is the highest education system, the first one. And the recognition of Cape Verdean degrees and the digital planning. As you know, the Agency of High School was established by the state through Law 21 of 2016 of 24th March. The agency aims at ensuring the quality of higher education in the country through the following: assessment and accreditation of high school institutions, accreditation of higher education institutions that ensure quality, and the recognition of diplomas of higher education. The main laws of higher education in Cape Verde, we have 4 laws that are legal requirements. The first one is the educative system Act, then the law for higher education institutions and the regiment for transferring or for transition to higher education. Now we'll talk about the structure of Cape Verdean education system. The Cape Verdean education system is made of kindergarten, primary education, higher education, and university education. In university education, we have access to only people who only people who meet the following requirements can go to university. They might have they might have completed high education. They must have a certificate of grade 12 or be legally certified to go to university. Or people who are above 25 years, people above 25 years who can go through a special examination to attest their capability to attend university education. Well, the university education in Cape Verde is made of private and state universities. We have 80 private schools, and we have a polytechnic education and university education. The polytechnic education is run by special schools who focus on arts. The university education is run at universities and the university schools that are not integrated. The universities and the university institutions have the right to license masters and doctors through professional courses. They can give, they can train graduates, masters and doctors. They award diplomas, and this course takes lasts for 3 or 4 semesters, which is equivalent to the European system to transfer credits. It matches level 5 of national qualification framework. Then the study cycles lasts for 80 curricular semesters, corresponding to 240 ECTS, and then we move to level 6. The study to acquire master's degree lasts for 4 curricular semesters, corresponding to, equivalent to 120 ECTS. And this comprises a specialization course, and where the person must draft a final internship report. This is equivalent to level 6. We still have a study cycle, an integrated study cycle of graduation and masters that lasts for about 10 or 12 curricular semesters, corresponding to 300 and 360 ECTS. And these masters is equivalent to level 7. Then we have the doctoral degree, which is only run by the university institutions. Then they award people with a doctoral degree. Then I would like to say that the number of hours of contact and the dedicated hours of autonomous work correspond to 27 or 28 hours, corresponding to 30 ECTS per semester. The acknowledgement of the academic degrees and diplomas is an act that allows to acknowledge an academic degree generally, in general terms, of an international degree that is equivalent of a degree taken in Cape Verde. What we do is a comparison of the system of foreign higher education with the, to the national diplomas. So when we receive a foreign diploma, we compare with the degree that was awarded by the foreign institution with the degrees that are run in Cape Verde. In terms of Article 32 slash 2021, only people who have been accredited by the competent authorities, by the Ministry of Education, or competent authorities from the countries of origins acknowledged to have acquired a degree internationally. In Cape Verde, the matters that acknowledge the foreign degrees are included in two diplomas. By the laws and the law 32/2021 of 15 April that approves the regulations and processes to acknowledge the foreign diplomas. This regiment acknowledges diplomas of graduation, master's and doctorate that match the Cape Verde curriculum. In law 32/2021, it approves the regulation to acknowledge the diplomas of foreign universities. My colleague, Dr. Alberto, is going to proceed with our presentation. Please take the floor, Dr. Alberto. There is a lot of echo. I can't hear the speaker. I can't hear the speaker. There's a lot of echo.
Alberto, posso só sugerir, talvez possa verificar em que canal se encontra.
Alberto, in what channel are you? There is a sound duplication. You have to be in general channel. Please switch to general channel. The speaker sound isn't clear. The speaker sound isn't clear. I can't hear the speaker.
Sim. Alberto. Alberto, tem que estar no canal off.
Devem ser submetidos todos os documentos controle de forma equívoca e dão diplomas nomeadamente formulário, utilizar, detectar,
I can't hear the speaker. I can't hear what the speaker is saying.
Yes. Alberto.
Alô, bom dia. Bom dia,
Som. Não. Alberto, não sei se pode verificar, tem que estar no off, no primeiro canal off.
You know, why can't you come? Parece que estamos com algum problema de áudio.
Yeah,
Agora está melhor.
that's
Está
much
no
better.
off. Está no off, não é? No canal de interpretação
Better
off.
now. You must switch off the interpretation channel. Better now.
Vou reiniciar a minha apresentação.
I'm going to restart my presentation. As I was saying, currently the services to acknowledge the diplomas is being done online because of COVID-19 pandemic. There is a contingency plan that aims at privileging the digital means and minimize the in-person services, so as to reduce the risks to the service providers and to the community. The documents required to acknowledge the degrees must be submitted online. They must use a form that is filled in by the diploma owner. Then they might attach the diploma, certificate, or school records. Those documents must be attested by the embassy. They must submit the copy of the thesis, especially for master's and doctoral degree. Then a copy of a document or identification document is also required, and the copy of the payment done required by law. I'm going to do a technical analysis of how we acknowledge the diplomas. The technical process involves two stages. In the first stage, we look if the diploma or certificate meets the requirements of the requirements to acquire that degree. And we also check all documentation, and we check whether the number of credits correspond to those required to acquire that degree. In this case, for people who have studied in Europe. The second stage, we do the technical analysis, and we try to find information that attest information that show that the course this candidate went through is acknowledged in the country of origin. We also check signatures and other legal references. At last, we ask for information from the foreign high school or university education institution. We have a source of reference, we have any NERIC network, which is a European network that helps us to acquire information that have to do with the acknowledgement of foreign diplomas. We have the International Association of Universities, which is a UNESCO database on on university education. We have a SHARE, which is a Council for Higher Education Accreditation, and we have a MEC platform. It is a higher education platform in Brazil that helps us to obtain information regarding the acknowledgement of diplomas that were acquired in Brazil. This is the chart that shows the recognition of diplomas obtained by countries. As you can see, the two countries that have a lot of demand is Brazil and Portugal, then follows China, Morocco, Cuba, Spain, the US, Russia, Senegal, Bolivia, France, Italy, and England. We received attest requirements for national and international citizens. Here we show some international universities that are not recognized in the country of origin. We have Universidade Internacional Ibrahima Americana in Puerto Rico. We have Atlantic International University in Hawaii. We have the CONUS, which is a university education institution that is not recognized in Portugal. We have international school, and we have UNECA Business School. The diplomas issued by those schools were not attested because these institutions were not acknowledged by the countries of origin. Irish is a member of the qualifications national system. It has and it articulates with the system of qualification that covers the qualification nationally, and it is an instrument that promotes development and the integration of technical and professional information. These can be used to analyze the professional equivalence. Now I'm going to describe Irish, which is a platform that will allow to support all processes of the area, as well as acknowledge or recognize the academic degrees. We describe the processes that support the electronic system. This platform has 4 modules. The last one will be implemented shortly. We have the first module that allows to manage the studies. We have the second module that allows to run the process. We have the third module that allows to submit the process.
I want to emphasize that these 4 modules enable the expediency of documentation in relation to the higher education institutions. And finally, we have the last module, that is the module to recognize foreign degrees and diplomas, whereby we computerize the whole process of registering foreign degrees and diplomas from higher education institutions. This module aims at enabling online processing of documentation, and it also ensures better control and flexibility in the recognition process. Finally, this module enables us to track at national level with regard to higher education students in Cape Verde. So this module will be implemented soon, and this will be a major advancement towards the recognition of foreign degrees and diplomas. Thank you for your attention. It's always a pleasure to share with you our experience with regard to recognition of foreign degrees and diplomas. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, colleagues from Cape Verde. We've had three very informative presentations, colleagues. First, we had experiences from Morocco, and the second presentation was by Eduarda on the website of the African qualifications, African Continental Qualifications Framework. And now the final presentation that we've just had on Cape Verde. We now can have discussions. The floor is open. Let's have a few hands, whether it can be on any of the three presentations. We'll take a few hands, and then colleagues will be given an opportunity to respond. I'm not sure if I'm not seeing hands, but I can note that Navin, you can proceed, sir. Oh yeah, I can see you now. Yes, please proceed.
Thank you, Shadrach. Thank you so much to the presenters. I really appreciate the vast amount and the detailed information that's been shared, in this webinar. Again, mirroring the last few webinars. I think it's more of a request because, and I'm sure this comes through from other countries also. At least from South Africa, I'm actually looking at the number of applications sometimes when we get from these countries, Cape Verde, Morocco, and there's always a need to particularly be able to get the key contacts for having a verification communication regarding higher education, school leaving, let's say vocational. So it would be very useful to have those specific contacts for these entities in the two countries, because then in that sense, it is in fact, this is probably, you may agree, Shadrach, it's probably useful for every country, but just specifically, it would be good to have those contacts. So it's more of a comment than a question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Most definitely, we definitely should perhaps arrange from this webinar and from other webinars so that we share contacts, because that makes our lives a lot easier when we have to verify and also to share information in whatever form. I believe will be advised technically on how contacts can be shared, not only by the colleagues who made presentations today, but I think by all of us, because we receive requests for verification from various countries. So most definitely, Naveen. Are there other comments, observations, colleagues? Eduardo, you can proceed.
I just wanted, thank you so much, Mr. Kobotlo. I just wanted to thank again the speakers today. And naturally, Naveen's proposal is very pragmatic and relevant. And if you don't mind, I also from the side of ACQF development project, I'd like just to suggest that if you like AQVN, you can also use the website of ACQF to publish your news, your information. I also already informed Naveen, Miriam, yourself, that please do not hesitate. You can use it also for AQVN, at least for while you are developing your own website. Websites are really so useful nowadays. That's just a simple, pragmatic proposal as well.
Thank you very much, Eduardo. We have the website at our disposal, our colleagues. Let's make full use of it. And the good thing is available to all of us. If there aren't any further comments, questions, and observations, I can see the number of participants before people start jumping off the platform, leaving. If there aren't any further comments, then I then would call upon Miriam Chiaba to deliver closing remarks, particularly because this is the last webinar of this series. And as she prepares to come to the podium, I would like to thank you very much, colleagues, in particular the presenters who shared their experiences with all of us today, and perhaps take the opportunity to thank everybody who participated. The networking and the contacts are critical in our work, and also being responsive when we receive requests from various of our colleagues about verifications. It's always so critical because it impacts on our turnaround time and efficiency as different agencies dealing with qualifications. And we also would like to thank the AQVN big weeks for giving the Council on Higher Education Lesotho the opportunity to coordinate and chair this webinar today. Miriam, over to you.
Thank you very much, Shadrach. I like that, big wigs, my goodness, that's for the political guys. Colleagues, firstly, I just want to say thank you so much, Shadrach and Council on Higher Education Lesotho, for taking the lead in this particular webinar. And also to thank ETF, Eduarda, Erica, our translators, and our presenters for today, Cape Verde and Morocco. It was so good to have Cape Verde and Morocco present, because we just wanted to ensure that the diversity that we talk about on the continent is actually visible even in the AQVN, because we had certain sessions where we had just English speaking. And today we thought, well, French speaking would be good, just to show that we can actually communicate despite our different languages, because our qualifications go across the continent, and they don't choose to go to just English speaking. They will go to Portuguese speaking, they'll go to French speaking. So a cross section of Portuguese and French, and even Spanish, if we were to do that, because we do have the interpretation capacities. That's why we do learn language. So with that, I don't think then that should be an impediment from us joining the WhatsApp group. I have noted, and even as council, we have discussed that there's a language difference in terms of communication. Yes, WhatsApp is almost quick and people can react quickly. However, like in our day-to-day now, when you receive a text in a different language, you quickly go to Google Translate and you can respond in your own language. So I believe that we can still communicate even if we have different languages, because on WhatsApp, Morocco, for instance, we need feedback on certain qualifications. So if Morocco is on the platform, it's quicker and easier for us to engage. Firstly, just to say, look, Morocco, I am sending a request to you, please acknowledge. And then you can pick it up offsite. But it's an easy way of us getting in touch and communicating. So I would like to encourage all of us who are on this group to use the link that Naveen has shared on the site, but we've also sent, together with the invitations that we normally send, we also sent you an invitation to join the WhatsApp group. You can share really anything, any developments that are happening in your space. Kenya is very, very active. Kenya always shares about their work that they are doing. So I'd like to encourage all of us again to emulate what Kenya is doing. So thank you so much. And I wish to take this opportunity to just thank you all for the support. I know they are consistent people that have been on the platform, and Mr. Bakar is one of them from Morocco. He's been through all the presentations. I think I just realized that, and I know that a lot of you have been with us in all these presentations. So it's good that we've been together, and I hope that this has opened up our countries to the others. We now know a lot better about Cape Verde. We now know a lot better about Lesotho or indeed Swaziland or Eswatini, sorry, and so on. So let's continue engaging. For now, our engagements will be on the WhatsApp platform. Of course, if there are new developments, we will let you know. As the AQVN, we're planning to have a meeting, an AGM, hopefully sometime in January. Council has to finalize on those arrangements, but we do want to have this meeting. If COVID allows, then we can have this as a physical meeting. Otherwise, we will continue having or the engagement online. But I think even the online, we can still achieve quite a lot, and we can make steps in making our network better and ensuring that we basically promote qualifications and genuine qualifications in Africa. Then lastly, the website Eduarda has mentioned, we do have that opportunity for us to populate information. So when you have information and so on that you feel should go under the AQVN page, please get in touch with Naveen or Gabi. They've been in touch with yourselves. These are available to receive any communication, but we, as well as AQVN, will be making postings on that website. For now, we'll be using the ACQF. And when we do have ours developed, thanks to ETF again, through GIZ, we're going to hopefully have this done for the AQVN. So there's been a lot of work that we have done. And the whole idea for us to take further the work of the AQVN and have a meeting as members, we need to decide how to ensure that our network grows, how to move from the inception to the next stages. The council has been in place for the last 3 years. We need to bring in new thinking, new thoughts. I've been at the helm for the last 3 years, and I would like to hang my boots, I'm sure, to allow somebody more energetic than I am to take over. So we need to have all those discussions as members. So, and we can only do that at a meeting. So the council will be facilitating that, and I do hope all of you will come on board so that we can make this decision together and move to the next stage. Naveen, is there anything else I've left?
You've said it all, Chair. Thank you so much, Mary. Yeah.
All right. So, so to everyone, as we go, just to introduce the council members who are here so that you can know, just in case somebody else is getting in touch with you so that you're not surprised. I have my vice chairperson, Gillian. Maybe you can just put on your camera so that people can see you.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Gillian. I can't see you.
But my camera is on, Chair. I don't know whether.
Oh, okay, now we can see you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's Gillian. She's the vice chair. We have Gabi, responsible for communications and publicity. Gabi is from Eswatini. Gillian is from Botswana. Gabi, are you there? I did see her before. Okay, while we are getting Gabi, we have Naveen. I'm sure all of you know Naveen. He's like the face of the AQVN. He's the one that's always in everybody's face. Then we have Dr. Ntoyi. I think Dr. Ntoyi is represented by Shadrach. So when you see Shadrach, you've seen Dr. Ntoyi.
Yes,
so, yeah. And lastly, we have Maxwell Kisi. Today he's not with us, but if you remember the gentleman who presented from Ghana, Maxwell is from Ghana. So that's one of the other council members. So those are the people that have been working in the background and facilitating this work. So we are planning to see if we can have a meeting somewhere January, early February, and subject to the council making all the relevant arrangements. And in there, we will then plan for the next set of activities. But it remains for me now to just say thank you to everyone for having joined us. And again, a special thank you to Eduarda and Erica and the interpreters for ensuring that this has been a success. Thank you. I think we can give them a clap, a serious clap for everyone, to ourselves.
Open the cameras.
Yeah, so let's put on the cameras for that special photo for the last session. I think we deserve it. And there's a survey because we want to know that this has been, whether it's been helpful or not. I think there's a link to a survey that we have sent to you. Yeah.
Worth having a lovely picture, everybody.
Yes.
Oh.
Tariq,
good to see you.
Dr. Bakar, by the way, I was actually hearing your presentation.
Wow. Hola.
You see.
Minha amiga.
Thanks, guys. I understand,
Alberto.
50-50.
Gosto muito de vos ouvir.
Obrigada, Eduarda. O convite foi prazer, Eduarda.
Muito obrigada.
Thanks, Paula and Ladim.
Thank you.
Big heart.
Thank you. Obrigada a todos.
Tariq, it's so great to see you. Thank you.
Excellent job, Eduarda.
Oh, good to see you.
Thank you. Fidelis, hi. And James, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Dr.
good to see
Pilot.
everyone.
Thank
oh,
you.
and proudly, sorry, I forgot to
Merci
announce
tout le monde.
proudly
Très bientôt.
Zambia, Botswana, and Tunisia signed
Yeah,
the
Monsieur
Addis
Bakou.
Convention.
Oh, yes.
Yes, sorry, I
Oh,
forgot to announce.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes, we know. I heard.
Thank
I
you.
heard.
Very happy. I can now retire.
No, no.
No, now we start working.
Okay, now we start with the global convention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jahu,
Okay, so bye
Jahu, we
everyone.
want
Thank
to
you
see
so
you.
much.
Bye.